A shocking development halfway across the world is creating a lot of questions here in the local community. Coming up, we'll show you how one group of experts here at Texas Tech are helping to make sense of the invasion of Ukraine.
Basketball, baseball, softball, and more were all in action over the weekend, both on and off campus. MCTV's Nathan Boles has scores, highlights, and a look at what's next for the Red Raiders and Lady Raiders in sports.
And another Texas Tech team who already has won multiple national championships is looking for their first world title after being selected to represent the USA in an upcoming competition. Find out which group of Red Raiders are hoping to make America proud.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Jayden Santos.
And I'm Clay Cash.
Last week, the world was shocked as Russian military forces began an invasion of Ukraine. With the situation continuing to intensify, many people in the United States have been questioning why Russia is attacking its southern neighbor. In response to those questions, several experts here on the Texas Tech campus came together late last week to give some answers regarding the ongoing conflict. On Friday afternoon, the Department of History hosted a virtual panel discussion through Zoom. The discussion included faculty from the History Department, along with experts from the Institute for Peace and Conflict, and the Departments of Political Science and Classical and Modern Languages and Literatures. The discussion started at 4 p.m. and covered topics such as the history of Ukraine, the relationship between Russia and Ukraine, and the implications of Russia's attack. The event wrapped up with a Q&A session giving the virtual audience the chance to send in their questions through the chat. Friday's panel was open to the general public, and according to organizers, the maximum number of participants was reached before the discussion began.
Friday's virtual panel was only one of several events happening here at the university on Friday. Earlier in the day, one department hosted an annual conference that welcomed in much more than just the tech community through the use of technology. The Texas Tech School of Law hosted the 2022 Estate Planning and Community Property Law CLE and Expo. This year, the events featured 8 speakers with presentations on various national and Texas estate planning topics. Even though the pandemic prevented the expo from being held in person last year, the conference was held virtually, which allowed for a nationwide audience to attend. Friday's event was also offered to an online audience through Zoom, and organizers say the additional modality allows for a diversity of opinions to be heard.
People all across the country can see different attorneys' takes and hear how different states do things.
Last week's event served as more than just a few for attendees to learn about estate planning and community property. The expo also allows attorneys to fulfill continuing legal education hours, or CLEs. Beard says that many attendees tell her the annual conference is their favorite way to fulfill the CLE requirements.
The University Rec Center offers dozens of intramural competitions each semester, and even though many require a team and take place over several weeks, the Rec Center also offers several other options that require much less of a commitment. One way you can get involved in some friendly competition on campus is pickleball. On Friday, UREC hosted a pickleball tournament inside the Rec Center on Court 8. Sophomore Jackson Barte says the game is a lot like tennis, just smaller and indoors. He took advantage of Friday's tournament to put his skills to the test against other students.
Playing just randomly isn't as fun. Competition always makes sports funner, especially when you start getting good at them.
Friday's pickleball tournament was just one of many fun and free intramural options available to all Texas Tech students. For a full schedule of spring competitions and flash events, visit imleagues.com or recsports.ttu.edu. The month of February has included a mix of weather conditions that included snow, dust storms, and temperatures ranging from 0 degrees all the way to the high 70s.
So with the month of March starting tomorrow, can we expect it to come in like a lion or a lamb as the winter season comes to an end? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. It's been a cloudy start to the week on the MCTV tower cam today, but even though the sun is absent this afternoon, temperatures have been on the rise. With highs climbing into the lower 60s, temperatures could reach the upper 60s before nightfall, but the clouds will stay in the area throughout the day. Cloudy conditions will stay in the area overnight, but lows should stay above freezing. That's a big change from the teens and single-digit lows we've seen over the last week. Tomorrow, the month of March looks to be starting out gently with a return of the sun, a light breeze, and highs climbing into the low 70s. The mild conditions will continue over the next few days, with daytime hours sticking around the 70-degree mark and lows remaining above freezing. Wednesday is currently forecast to be one of the warmest days we've seen so far, with the possibility of highs in the mid to upper 70s. Thursday will be slightly cooler with the return of the overcast skies by mid-afternoon. Looking ahead, the first 80-degree day of the year could happen by the end of the week, but another cold front may be in the forecast by the weekend.
Texas Tech Athletics just finished off one of the busiest weekends of the year, with more than half a dozen teams in action over the last 3 days.
MCTV's Nathan Boles joins now with a wrap-up of the biggest Red Raider headlines in sports. Nathan?
Thanks, Clay and Jayden. 7 of the top teams in college basketball lost on Saturday, and Texas Tech was not immune to the chaos. Tech played TCU in Fort Worth. It was a back-and-forth game, but Tech had a good run in the first half. Offense was great, and they were up 41-33 at the half, capped off by that Adonis Arms dunk. But then the offense went kind of stagnant, and TCU clawed their way back in at Francisco Farabello. His only 3 points of the game give TCU one of their first leads, 61-60. Lead change after lead change. Bryson Williams throws it down. They get a 1-point lead. Still a 1-point lead. Xavier Cork, he gets the dunk. TCU up 1. Tech tries to score again. They don't get it. TCU, it's Micah Peavy, makes one free throw but misses one. Now Terrence Shannon tries a long 3 to tie it. Adonis Arms tries another one, and it just wasn't enough. Peavy fouled, half a second left. TCU wins 69-66. Did get another chance, but Bryson Williams just a little too late. After the game, head coach Mark Adams talked about the loss, but also looked ahead to Kansas State.
Yeah, I mean, it gets a chance to get back on the winning track. Thank goodness, even though it's only a couple of days away, maybe we can forget about this one by playing K-State. But they're a very good team. You know, they excellent from the three-point line, and you know, they lost a close one today, so I'm sure they'll be anxious to get back on the floor as well. At least somebody's celebrating, aren't they?
Yes, it seems like somebody was, as the Red Raiders fell in the polls, but they're still number 12 in the country. Tonight is senior night at the USA, where Tech will honor Bryson Williams, Davion Warren, and the other seniors that have contributed to this special season. After that, the Kansas State game will start at 8 p.m. If you can't make it, the game will be live on ESPN2. Both the men's and women's track and field teams finished second at the Big 12 Indoor Championships, both behind Texas. The Red Raiders took home 11 individual Big 12 titles. Season's usual in the women's weight throw and Ruth Dusoro in women's long jump each won their 3rd straight Big 12 title in that event. Jacoby Shelton won the male highest scorer award with titles in the 60-meter and 200-meter races. All of the Red Raiders Big 12 champions should qualify for the NCAA Indoor Championships March 11th and 12th. The top 16 times in each event throughout the season get into the NCAA Indoors. The official selections will be announced tomorrow. Other Texas Tech sports had mixed results over the weekend. Number 19 Texas Tech baseball swept a 3-game series over Kent State. Friday's game was postponed to make a doubleheader on Sunday. In Sunday's games, Ty Coleman led the Tech offense with 6 runs batted in, 2 doubles, and 2 home runs. Texas Tech got a 10-7 win Saturday and an easy 8-1 win in Game 1 on Sunday. Game 2 on Sunday required a 4-run 7th inning to overcome a 5-3 deficit and get the win. Their next full series will be against Merrimack at home this weekend, but first, they'll be in Dallas against Dallas Baptist on Tuesday. First pitch is at 2 p.m. Softball had an up-and-down weekend, but it ended with a lot of up as they beat number 18 Northwestern on Sunday. Kendall Fritz didn't allow a run until the top of the 7th inning as Texas Tech got their first top 25 win of the season, 4-2. In total, Tech softball went 2-3 at the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic in Cathedral City, California. None of their losses in the tournament were by more than a single run. They'll play their first home games this weekend starting Friday at 6 p.m. against North Texas. And Lady Raider basketball started out strong against number 9 Iowa State, but they just couldn't do enough. Taylor Thomas had 16 points and Bryn Gerlich had 14 for Texas Tech, but Ashley Jones carried Iowa State when the Cyclones needed it, and then she helped Iowa State run away with it in the second half, finishing with 24 points and 12 rebounds. Iowa State got the win, 71-55. Vivian Gray was held to 9 points. Until Saturday, she had scored 20 or more points in 6 straight games. She and the Lady Raiders will try to get one back on senior night Wednesday at the USA. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is also on ESPN+. That's all for sports. Back to you, Clay and Jayden.
Thanks, Nathan. Several of the teams Nathan mentioned are hoping for the chance to compete at national tournaments later this spring.
That's true, Clay. But there's one group of Red Raiders who have already succeeded here in the U.S. and are hoping to bring home more awards as they compete on a much bigger stage. Texas Tech's Pom Squad has been chosen to represent the United States during this year's International Cheer Union World Cheerleading Championships. Tech Pom Squad will compete as the 2022 National Premier Jazz Team at the competition in Orlando, Florida in April. The Red Raiders will go up against other jazz teams from around the world in hopes of winning the title of World Champion on behalf of the U.S. Tech's Pom Squad was chosen as this year's National Premier Jazz Team after winning national championships at the National Dance Alliance Collegiate Competition in 2018, 2019, and 2021. Tech Pom most recently competed in the Universal Dance Association's Dance Team National Championship at the beginning of February. The team made the finals in the jazz competition in their first year to compete in UDA. The ICU World Cheerleading Championships will take place on April 20th through 22nd at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex inside Walt Disney World.
So, Jayden, with all the different sports going on this past weekend, did you have a chance to catch up and watch any of the Red Raiders teams in action?
I did. Sadly. I saw Tech get beat by TCU and it broke my heart.
Right here with you, man, right here with you. Well, that's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you on Thursday.